not to fear, we have interpretation. So you'll be, obviously I'll try to speak slowly so everyone who can understand English will be able to pick it up at least the first time. But we have Kim here who's also going to be translating my presentation. So I'll try to make sure I spend enough time for translation. Okay, so first of all, let me introduce who I am. My name is Schalk. I'm a Google Developer Advocate. What is that job? Well, basically, it's a combination of Google Software Engineer and Google Business Development. And so I do other things like Mickey, but I also work with the technology. So I have a lot of fun, actually, working with the technology, but then also coming out and meeting lots of good people here. And I have to say, it's been a really fun last 2 years working with OpenSocial, almost 2 years, that is, with all the different communities around the world, especially in India and Japan. And we're extremely happy to have the new OpenSocial container partner here, launching a new environment. So Google, the corporate headquarters are all extremely happy to have you join the family. So thank you very much for having me, and thank you very much for being an OpenSocial container.
지금 여기 오신 분이 크리스 샬스라는 분으로 이제 저희 오픈소셜 본사에서 이제 오픈소셜 플랫폼 개발하시는 팀에 있고, 또 이제 이렇게 오픈소셜을 다양한 협력사들하고 같이 이제 협력하고 또 개발자들에게 소셜을 개발하는데 이제 도움을 드리고 같이 또 네트워크를 하고 이런 역할을 하고 계시는 분이고요. 저는 이 한국의 현재 엔지니어로 있는 최영이라고 합니다. 오늘 이 사이월드가 이제 또 저희 오픈소셜 연합부에 이제 조인하게 된 것과 또 이 많은 훌륭하신 개발자들을 만나뵙게 되어서 반갑다고 합니다.
Okay. So another thing, just for fun, I do happen to have a few OpenSocial stickers. So I'll try to come up with a fairly fast way to come up with a simple way where I can give you some stickers. And so people, I assume, are you interested in having a sticker, possibly? So anyway, what I do is ask you a few questions, and if you raise your hand first and answer the correct question, I'll make sure you get a sticker, okay? And I'll do that during the presentation.
예, 이 질문해 주신 분들께 스티커를 하나씩 나눠드리도록 하겠습니다.
Okay. So let's talk about the discussion that I'm going to do today. First of all, I'll just give you a very quick background of OpenSocial, just kind of touch on the main points. Quick question for you. How many people here have actually used or developed with OpenSocial?
이 오픈소셜을 이미 개발해 보신 분께서는 손을 한번 들어주시겠습니까?
Okay, so there are some new people, so that's good to know. There's definitely some new people who are getting up to speed, so I'll be able to explain some of the concepts pretty clearly. Okay.
예, 이제 백그라운드에 대해서 그러면 간략하게 설명해 드리도록 하겠습니다.
And I would have to say also, I'll spend the majority of my talk focusing on doing demonstrations using development tools, just showing what are the different options that you have in order to build OpenSocial applications, especially with the new Dev.Square sandbox environment. And then I'll finish up by just talking about some more advanced developer topics and then discussing the overall OpenSocial organization, which you can find information at the website, opensocial.org.
예, 이제 먼저 백그라운드에 대해서 간략하게 설명드리고, 그다음에 오픈소셜을 개발하는 거, 특히 이제 여기 사이월드 데브스퀘어에서 이제 개발할 수 있는 경우들을 실제 이제 사례를 통해서 이제 보여드릴 거고요. 그 다음에는 이제 뭐 새로운 개발 툴들, 그리고 이제 뭐 좀 최적화라든가 이런 좀 더 이 어드밴스한 토픽들도 이야기를 할 테고, 마지막으로 이 오픈소셜 ORG에 대한 이 소개를 해드리도록 하겠습니다.
Okay. Cool. So let's discuss OpenSocial. We'll do a little bit of background. So first of all, what is OpenSocial? Mickey gave us a brief introduction, but it's a set of common APIs that allow you to build social applications across multiple websites, and it's based on open standards.
네, 이 미키님께서 이미 소개를 해드렸듯이 이제 오픈소셜이라는 것은 플랫폼, 다양한 이제 프로바이더를 통해서 애플리케이션을 제공할 수 있는 그런 플랫폼입니다.
And you may have noticed, Mickey mentioned before, but before OpenSocial, there was no standardization. You had to literally write code to different websites, and so the entire social development was entirely a proprietary environment. There was really no simple way to build applications that could run on multiple environments.
네, 이 오픈소셜이 나오기 전까지는 각각의 이 프로바이더마다 대단히 이제 어려운 작업들을 썼어야 했는 거죠.
So it's standards based. It's a fairly simple API based on 3 core areas: some people and data and activities. Pretty much it. And you can write applications that utilize these 3 core areas and essentially have a runnable application.
네, 그래서 프렌즈와 데이터 그리고 액티비티라는 이런 간단한 개념을 통해서 다양한 이제 애플리케이션을 개념화실 수 있도록 했습니다.
And once you understand the open social technology from a developer standpoint, you'll be in a very good position. You'll be able to write applications that will run with a very large community of open social containers around the world. So obviously here our developer is quite happy. And so just kind of also touch on another very important point. It may not be obvious, but because we're at Google, we are pushing open social. You may think that Google owns open social or it's a Google product. So is that really the case? No. Google is actually an open development standard and is run under the Open Social Foundation. It's that Google did kickstart or launched the open source set of APIs, but it's actually now managed under the Social Foundation through a completely open environment.
이 오픈소셜이라는 게 구글에서 처음 시작은 했지만은 지금은 이제 오픈소셜이라는 건 이 단체에 의해서 이제 주도가 되고 있는 것이고 구글은 이제 거기에 참여하는 방식으로 되고 있어서 관심 있으신 분은 누구나 이제 이 주도적인 역할 참여하실 수가 있습니다.
And in general, as I mentioned earlier, as you as open source developers, you have access to be able to write applications that not only can work with Seoul and Dev.Square, but it can literally work on containers, open source containers that circle the globe, reaching a very large end user population.
예,
So these are some partners, just a sample of them.
여러분께서 이제 오픈소셜을 개발하시게 되면은 사이버드뿐만이 아니라 이런 다양한 프로바이더와 함께 일을 하실 수가 있습니다.
Just to give you an idea of all of the numbers of people around the world that are using it. Now, they showed this slide, but I just wanted to make the important point. There's over 800 million end users that are now using open social, and we expect that number to continue growing as even more features come online.
예, 이미 800만 명의 사용자가 800만이 아니라 800만 밀리언의 사용자가 있고요. 800밀리언의 파명 있는 것 같아요. 일단 이제 꾸준히 증가를 할 것 같습니다.
I'm sure there was something funny there. So just a little bit of background, and don't worry, I'll go very quickly, but just to kind of give you a historical context, Open Social was launched in November of 2007. It was version 0.5, and very quickly we moved from 0.5, 0.6, 0.7 in the course of a few months because there was some extremely important evolutions going on into the APIs during the early phase. So from the year of 2007 to January or spring of 2008, we had a number of new features that came into the Open Social APIs. We had a number of new containers like Hi5, Me, so that joined the Open Social community. And then by spring of 2007 or 2008, we were already up and running.
2007년 12월에 처음으로 0.5에 나온 거 계속해서 빠르게 이제 버전업을 해가지고 얼마 전에 2008년 봄에는 0.8 버전까지 나왔습니다.
And then 0.8 was a very important release, and this came out later in 2008. And I would say the most important about 0.8 or 0.81 specifically is that it contained a RESTful and RPC protocol that allowed you to do server-to-server communication social applications.
0.8 버전에서 가장 중요한 것은 RESTful API와 RPC를 이제 지원을 해서 서안에 이제 이런 작업들을 할 수 있는 환경을 구축했습니다.
And also, just a final footnote, the Open Social client libraries, so these are utility libraries that allow you to easily communicate with Open Social Container. These were launched at the end of last year, December 2008.
네, 또한 클라이언트 라이브러리가 이제 함께 런칭했습니다.
The current version of Open Social right now is 0.9. I should say though that not all containers are implementing 0.9, so